Hello everyone, welcome to a different kind of video. We're not talking about DSP, we're talking about Anita Sharkgirl. For a long time I was dying for a new tropes in video games video that she was cooking. And here it is. I can't wait to see more of what she has to say. Going off of the title, she's going to be talking about body diversity, so I'm going to give you my opinion on that. See, this also kind of goes with what I feel with Anita, because I bet you anything this is going to be like shallow discussion, of this topic. Now, I don't think we necessarily need to remove or minimize the amount of sexy women that people create. I don't think we need to minimize that. I don't think that's what we should be doing, but we should also be maximizing more diverse characters. That's the only thing I think. I understand people saying that, I wish that we get more variety in women than just like slender bodies and all that. I understand that fine. Because there is a truth to that we only see mostly slender bodies out of these female characters. So I wouldn't necessarily disagree that we don't need more variety, but I don't think the answer would be to remove or just minimize the amount of women that we draw sexually or create that sexually attractive or whatever. And that's the other issue I have with Anita's videos, that most of the time when she brings up these topics, she just sounds like that she either wants to minimize something or just have more of something else, but it should just be, we should have just as much of bland and like whatever women as we do sexy women. I think we should just have a healthy ecosystem of that, because I think we could have that all live harmoniously. I don't think we need to have less of one thing to have the other. So and to be fair, that might not be what Anita's gonna be saying in this video. To be fair, I think it's gonna be, she might say something that's actually reasonable. I'm gonna go. And that's the secret to me when I watch these videos. I always go in with an open mind. I always assume that Anita is going to be having a good conversation or analysis of these topics that she brings up. I have been disappointed every video she makes, but you know what? Maybe I'll be surprised. I think I was surprised with one of her latest video game tropes videos, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember the last time I said that I was like, I agree with Anita, but we'll see. That's how I feel about this title, assuming that that's what she's going to be talking about. So let's get started. Actually, I want to see something. You really can't complain about my shape, can you? Straight. Is that like a skit that they did? Terrible skit. Straight, yeah, okay. I always find it funny that she starts these videos with like a montage of all these sexy women. It's like, you're talking about how having nothing but sexy women is a problem, but you have a montage displaying them. Like I get the idea that they do it kind of as like a joke to kind of like entice people to watch their videos, but honestly, at this point, everyone knows who Feminist Frequency is, and everyone knows her stance on things. That montage at this point is just kind of like making her look stupid. So she should really just remove that montage altogether and just have like the Feminist Frequency thing, or whatever the art shit is. Not this montage of. Just take that out. Is all I'm saying.
At their annual BlizzCon event in 2014, the wildly successful game studio Blizzard Entertainment showed off a new game they had in the works called Overwatch. And from that first reveal, it was clear the appeal of Overwatch resided in its cast of characters, a diverse assortment of heroes, each with unique traits and abilities. The roster revealed at BlizzCon included men and women, sentient robots, and super intelligent.
Look, I'm gonna say this is the only thing that is pissing me off with the Overwatch, and I'm sure some people might agree. They pander so hard to the SJWs in that game, and it really, like, I was interested in getting Overwatch for a while, but then I keep seeing all this stuff about Blizzard pandering to these SJWs, and it just doesn't make me interested in getting it, to be honest, because the thing is that you can't ever please them, because they will always find something to bitch about. No offense, I mean, if you're an SJW and you get offended by that, I'm sorry, but, like, you don't have to watch my video, and you don't have to like it. But, you know, they had a pose of Tracer, and they're like, oh, they don't like Tracer's pose, we should remove it. And it's like, why? Why not just have a variety pose? Like, why not have, like, okay, that pose is in the game, but you have other poses. Just because, like, oh, well, the SJW just doesn't want to see other people with that pose, because they're just going to use... It's like, who cares? Who cares? I don't care. Like, and it ruins the fun of everyone. You can't really please them, because then you're pissing off other people. And it's creatively offensive to creative people, because then what's the point of creating stuff if you're just gonna be like, oh, I don't know if I want to create this because they might piss people off. You're gonna piss people off. I'm sorry, if you create something, you're gonna piss people off. That's just how it is. If you're gonna wake up every day, create something, and are afraid to piss people off, then don't create anything. Don't. You're the worst kind of creator if you're gonna be afraid to piss people off. Don't be afraid. Don't be a pussy and be like, oh, well, I made this character. Like, the only way that I will say that you need to, like, pull things back or, like, you know, maybe censor shit is if you're portraying something in an offensive, malicious way. Like, if you're creating something with the intent of pissing people off or in the intent of being malicious, then yeah, you know, maybe you should have that in there. But if you're doing something that's like, you know, like Armika's butt slap, for example, Capcom didn't put that in there to piss people off. Or like, oh yeah, you know, be sure to slap ass or whatever. No, they just put that in there because she's a fucking wrestler and it, you know, works for the character. They didn't put that in there to be like, yeah, fucking domestic abuse. Like, that shit, yeah, I can understand that. Or like harassment, I can understand, you know, people saying that we should tone down or whatever. But if it works in the sense of the story and it has some kind of payoff for the victim, like maybe, you know, you have this character that's being harassed throughout the story. Then at the end of the story, she gets her justice and she finally turns the tables on the harasser. Then that's fine, because you have this build up of like, wow, this person's getting harassed. When will she get her just desserts? And then, like, you know, at the last minute or something, she gets like she turns the tables and the harasser, you know, gets punished. Stuff like that is fine. But if you're gonna have like nothing but harassment and then have no payoff, if it's like malicious shit, then yeah. But Overwatch, there's nothing malicious about it. There's nothing malicious. So when I see this whole thing where, oh, well, we need to take this stuff out because it's gonna be offensive, then why the fuck did you make the character? Oh, like, I don't remember, I remember hearing that, I think it was either Symmetra or Anna or Zenyatta or some character where I think she was gonna have like a burqa or something, and like, oh, that's offensive, that might piss people off. It's like, but if that's her heritage, if she's from that, then how is that being racist? Like, if like, I mean, you're not necessarily whitewashing a fucking like thing. It's not like you're taking Tracer and be like, okay, now Tracer's gonna be wearing a Muslim outfit. Like, yeah, that you could say that might be offensive or something, like, you know, that might be cultural appropriation or whatever. But if you're taking someone that's from that heritage and you're giving a costume to that character that's in her heritage, how is that racist? That's like me wearing a toga and then you're telling me that I'm racist. Like me wearing a traditional Greek outfit and saying I'm racist because I'm wearing a Greek outfit. It's like, well, I'm Greek, so surprise. But whatever.
However, for all the apparent variety and diversity in the heroes Blizzard showed off at the game's debut, there wasn't much diversity to be seen in the body types represented by the female heroes. The male characters introduced that day included the towering knight Reinhardt, the sturdy engineer Torbjorn, the agile archer Hanzo, and the hulking simian scientist Winston, among others. The 5 female characters introduced consisted of the slender adventurer Tracer, the slender healer Mercy, the slender support character Symmetra, the slender sniper Widowmaker, and the slender but well-armored security chief Pharah.
You notice that she skipped two female characters in the game? Well, three, actually, I forgot, there's Anna. She skipped over those three characters, so that's great. And, now, you could argue that these women have slender bodies because they work out, they have a healthy diet, whatever. But you could also argue that with the male characters because there are obese characters in these kind of games. But who cares? And this is kind of why I think Anita is a closet lesbian. I think she probably grew up in a family that kind of made her ashamed of it, maybe she was programmed to like men or whatever, because she puts more thought into how women are portrayed than anyone I've seen. I don't care how women look in games; they can look like fucking walking garbage bins for all I care. I don't care. I mean, but the thing is that, but that's not to say that I wouldn't mind having more variety in women body types and all that kind of shit, which is fine. But, at the same time, I don't really care. Well, whatever. Let's just see what she has to say.
Overwatch was hardly alone in having all of its female characters share a similar physique. In Ultra Street Fighter 4, characters such as Dalsum, Hakan, E. Honda, Rufus, and Vega represent a significant range of male body types. Looking at the roster of female characters, however, while some may be a bit taller than others or have slightly larger thighs, not one of them...
Or having more muscles. Like, some of them are more muscular than others. I mean, just look at Decapra and Cammy. They have abs. They have fucking abs. Does Cammy have... Not Cammy. Does Cammy have abs? No. Does Sea Viper... Does Sakura have abs? I mean, I would also bring up Chun-Li, but, she's wearing a fucking dress, so, she might have abs under that, but we just don't see them.
Represents a notable departure from the slender body type that has been established as the standard of conventional female attractiveness. Similarly, when we look at the champions on offer in the hugely popular MOBA League of Legends, we see the designers employing a wonderful range of body shapes and proportions across dozens of male characters, from the classic muscular warrior physique of Taric, to the hefty beer belly of Gragas, to the cartoonishly disproportionate body of Dr. Mundo. There isn't any one male body type that is presented as the standard default male body type, and the value of these characters is definitely not connected to their sexual...
But there is a lot of games that have the same body types for men. I mean, like... Yeah, there are games where they have more variety for male body types, but like the most generic like AAA games have the same body types for men, like Metal Gear. Not saying that Metal Gear is generic. I'm just saying like most games that you would see that Metal Gear, Devil May Cry, Silent Hill. Well, probably Silent Hill. I haven't played that game in a long time, so Deus Ex. There's a lot of games. I could spend hours listing games that have traditional male body types that are the same. And I do feel that I think this body variety can go both ways. I don't think it's necessarily just a woman issue. I mean, it's just men don't have as a wide scale issue as women do because look at some of these games. I mean, there are some games that allow men to have different body types. But I think we should have also... It's a two-way street. I think it's an issue that we can both come to the conclusion to by just adding more body types for women. I don't think we need to reduce the amount of sexual ladies we have in video games. But we could just do more with more variety of body types. That's all. We can just have more of those with these sexy femme fatales in the mix instead of just having less of one to have more of the other. That's just dumb. That's not really solving an issue. That's just kind of stumping creativity.
Desirability. But when we look at the female heroes, there's nothing approaching the diversity we see on the male side of the roster.
And the other thing I want to say, I've seen a lot of artists do a lot of like female characters and they draw them sexually instantly. A lot of artists. I mean, I'm sure there's also artists that have more body type varieties and all that kind of stuff, but it is kind of fun drawing women sexually. and that's not necessarily a bad thing or a great thing, but it's a lot. It's fun to draw them that way, and and this is why I don't think that the answer is to necessarily reduce the amount of sexual women with slender bodies is the answer. I just think it's just fun to draw women like that. I mean, but yeah, I do think that creatively we should open the gates to having more diverse body types, but I don't think that it matters to the point where it's like a grave inequality or discrimination. But it's just that most of these times these artists probably drew women like this because they like drawing women like that. I mean, it's not like that they're saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna draw a woman skinny because that's fucking sexy," and man, my dick's so hard right now. Ugh. Like, it's not that, and it's not like that they do it to please men or anything. But it's just that they do it because they might enjoy drawing women like that. And that might be kind of unfair or whatever, but if you like doing something, why should you be ashamed to do it? I mean, it's just, I would ask Will, like, why not just draw more variety? That's it. That's it. That's all you need to be asking. I don't know, and I also don't know why she's harping on games that are already released. There's nothing you can do about that. Those are irrelevant now. Talk about what we can do in the future. But we'll see. Let's continue.
There are a few noteworthy variations from the standard. Illaoi is somewhat more muscular than many of the female characters. Jinx has smaller breasts, and there's the cute gnome like Tristana. But the overwhelming majority of female characters make it clear that a slender figure with prominent breasts is viewed as the standard for female character design.
Yeah, because Karen has such prominent breasts, right?
Likewise, in Dota 2, male heroes can be handsome or comical, outlandish or grotesque, while female heroes are mostly relegated to being standard humanoid characters with conventionally attractive facial features. Where are all the female rock creatures, skeletal priests, and whatever this thing is?
Have you played God of War 3? I started playing God of War 3 since it was on sale, and there was like a female rock titan thing. But yeah, this is, again, proving my point that I don't think the answer would be to having less of one thing. We should just have more of the other. We should just have like more variety. But yeah, I don't know why we need more rock creatures, but okay.
This isn't just an issue in fighting games, MOBAs, and other titles that give players a range of characters to choose from. Female characters across the board are often limited to that same specific body type.
I should kill you. Doing all right there?
But like, all these characters are in games where even the men that are like in the same kind of like realm of like being a fighter or whatever have like the same slim body type that's muscular and all that shit. Women are kind of the same in that regard because they have to be fit to fight. There's a reason why you don't see a lot of obese assassins or obese like whatever. I mean, fighting games, it's fine to argue that because in fighting games you see a wide variety of male body parts, types, whatever. But like when you're in like a game like Assassin's Creed, it doesn't make sense to have a obese assassin. But I mean, you could argue that we should see more not attractive assassins, I guess, but that's fine as well. But whatever.
Stay away from her. Sure you want to let him go?
No, like when she brought up like Lollipop Chainsaw, Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, there might have been another one. But those are all goofy games that are over the top on purpose. Like you can't take those seriously. Oh, Dead or Alive, that's right. Those are games that are not meant to be taken seriously.
This guy wants me to trust him.
It's as if male characters are free to embody whatever physique best communicates their personality or abilities, but when it comes to the designs of female characters, that kind of imagination and creativity often doesn't seem to exist. Rather than
But the other thing is that when you see like a fat male character in a game or something, they're usually portrayed as lazy bums or whatever. I mean, there might be like whatever, but with women, you see them to have this kind of authoritative kind of attitude, which isn't bad. I'm not saying that like, oh yeah, they're all bossy bitches, right? No, I'm not saying that. But they usually have this kind of like personality that kind of gives them the reason why they're like that. Like they're just like, yeah, But if they're like a lazy slob, they're like, oh, and they have a perfect body, then I could kind of see her point. But all these women that she has kind of shown have kind of a standing in some kind of way that kind of doesn't paint them as lazy bums or that people that don't care about their body.
Seeing such an exciting range of female characters, we mostly get the same body type over and over again. One designed to be sexually appealing to the presumed straight male player.
But and that's the other thing, that she keeps assuming that these designs are for straight male gamers, which is a very, very specific demographic. I mean, what about the lesbians, Anita? I mean, don't you think lesbians get turned on by sexy women? I mean, it's very specific that she says straight male consumers. She is like ignores the fact that lesbians like women and they might like sexy women. I mean, it kind of goes both ways on that. Whatever, but yeah, whatever.
This reliance on the same body type for so many female characters isn't just boring, it's harmful. It links our value as human beings within the culture to our desirability to men, and it reinforces our culturally influenced ideas about who gets to be considered.
Oh, so we're using this argument of like, oh, the media's telling me shit. I hate this argument so much because with that logic, I could say, well, in games they tell me that men have guns and they kill people and they can get away with it. So, like, if I play Grand Theft Auto, I can shoot people and get away with it. So, I should be able to do that and get away with it, right? No. Just because a game has sexy women, it doesn't mean that the game's telling you, you need to be sexy, girls. Come on. Like that's such a reach. And at that point, you're kind of overthinking things, and you're kind of thinking that on your own. Like, this isn't something that's programmed in your brain when you're born into the world. And when you look at like TV and all that stuff, your parents should tell you what's on TV isn't real, or you shouldn't have media be your parent. Media isn't your fucking babysitter. If your parents haven't told you that beauty is found on the inside, or you shouldn't care how your body looks, you should be more content with yourself. If you haven't learned that lesson, then you're fucked. I'm sorry, but like this is stuff that you should have known about yourself. Like your parents should have taught you that. I mean, it's not the responsibility of games, movies, TV shows, whatever. Yeah, you can say that some TV shows and video games teach important lessons, but they're not teaching you how to be a fucking, like, how you should perceive yourself. It's just by how a character looks. That is so shallow, and it's kind of ironic coming from her that is saying that, oh, you shouldn't look at things shallow, but look at this thing! It's like, what is the argument you're trying to portray in your videos, Anita? Should we be shallow creatures or shouldn't we? Because if the lesson is we shouldn't be shallow, then why are we looking at these characters in a shallow light? It's this kind of stuff that kind of stops her argument from progressing at all. And I've said this in every Anita video because it's the same issue. She doesn't do anything with this. She doesn't, like, realize that her arguments are flawed or that they hit dead ends all the time. And she doesn't delve into them.
Are desirable and who doesn't. The problem is exacerbated by the fact that when we do see representations of women with different body types, they're often presented as a joke, as in Fat Princess.
Oh yeah, in Fat Princess, it's only a joke there, but Bayonetta, oh yeah, her slender body, like her attitude, is all meant to be taken seriously, right? And same with Lollipop Chainsaw, where you're playing as a zombie hunter that's a cheerleader who has a decapitated head of her boyfriend. That's supposed to be taken seriously, but Fat Princess, that's a joke, guys. That's not meant to be taken seriously, but Bayonetta, Lollipop Chainsaw, Devil May Cry are all games that are meant to be taken seriously. And Dead or Alive, Extreme Volleyball, whatever, are all serious games. But Fat Princess is a joke.
or they're pathologized and presented as a twisted transgression of the established feminine ideal, as in the case of the evil lesbian psychopath Joe Slade in Dead Rising.
But Bayonetta is sane and is meant to be taken seriously. She's not overly done with her attitude or anything. Same with any other female character like Eliza from Skullgirls, Ragyo Kiryuin from Kill la Kill, Morrigan from Darkstalkers. No, those characters are meant to be taken seriously, and like they have no, they're not played for laughs like in Dead Rising. Dead Rising is a very serious period piece. If you didn't know, Dead Rising is very serious. It's meant to be taken seriously. That's why you have a very serious character like Frank West who can wear a dress, wear a serve-bot head, that kind of shit. Meant to be taken seriously, not meant to be taken for laughs or anything. Dead Rising is a serious game. So how dare they have a character that's an obese cop that is meant to be taken as a joke? No, you can't do that in Dead Rising, because Dead Rising is a game that is meant to be taken seriously by the people who played it and think that Dead Rising is a serious game when there's zombies in a mall with happy music playing in the background. Yeah.
Let's see just how shameless you are, you dirty little skank. Say hello to my little friend.
No, not again! When the majority of women who populate these game worlds are designed from the same narrow template, the problem isn't just what we're seeing in games, it's what we're not seeing. The fact that fat women and women with different body shapes aren't featured in these worlds reinforces the false notion that these women are less valuable.
Yeah, like Dead Rising, right? The clip you just showed, that showed an obese woman, she doesn't exist. Yeah, she's wearing a fat suit, that's what it is.
And less worthy of recognition than those women whose bodies come closer to matching the cultural beauty standard. These limitations on creativity...
Yeah, what about the characters in Overwatch you didn't talk about? What the fun?
When it comes to female characters don't stop with body type. We also don't see the same range of ages commonly represented as we do with male characters. It's not unheard of to see male soldiers, fighters, and heroes who appear to be in their 40s, 50s, and even older.
You're right.
Playable female characters, on the other hand, are almost always young, and it's for the same reason.
Okay, everyone, Anna, is it Zenyatta? I can't remember I don't play Overwatch, obviously. Anna, I think Anna. She is like she's like a mother to this other character, and she's like old. She's not old according to Anita. She's young. She's a young woman. So if you tell me that Anna is an old lady, you're a fucking idiot. Anita just said so. She doesn't exist. She's a young buck. She's very young. Okay.
Reason that so many of them have the same body type. They're intended to be sexually appealing to straight male players.
Straight male players that. No, lesbians obviously don't care about women's body types either. I mean, it's not like that that ever exists, right? Right? These lesbians are apparently okay with like dating ugly girls or stuff like that. Obviously that's a thing. Apparently lesbians are more evolved than male straight people, where males are the only one that can think shallow and only care for looks, but lesbians, no. They're like above that. They're like on this plane of existence where they don't see body types and they don't see any of that. Not at all. Because that's not like, I'm generalizing or anything, right? It's not like I'm saying that, I'm basically saying every lesbian's the same. There's no lesbian that has a different mindset or anything. No way, no how. Lesbians are all the same. They never have a shallow thought in their head. They never sat there and was like, wow, that woman looks cute, or wow, that woman looks sexy or anything. That's not a thought in lesbians, right? Because Anita is just focusing on the male gaze. Because apparently lesbians don't have the same kind of thought processes, even though they are attracted to women. But we're gonna ignore lesbians, okay? Lesbians don't exist in Anita's little fantasy world, right? Okay.
The result is that we have plenty of representations of male characters who communicate that men can continue to be active, vital, and powerful over the course of their lives. Meanwhile, the absence of older playable female characters
Okay, but the thing with Snake, old Snake, is that he constantly has back problems. Like he does that a lot of times. He coughs a lot. He's like nearing death. But yeah, he's a fit, able old man that has no issues at all with his health. Everyone who plays MGS4, if you tell me that, well, Theo, he has Foxeye and he's coughing a lot and does that, you're an idiot. Okay, he's perfectly healthy, healthy man over there.
wrongly suggest that women's value is tied directly to their beauty and youth, and that when they're older, that value is all used up.
Okay.
There aren't many good
Yeah,
examples of
Anna is a used up sniper. She has no worth at all. She's pointless. She's a pointless character. She's just there for just to say that they have her. Okay, Anita. Yeah. She just exists to exist. Yeah, okay. And the boss, who is like in her mid ages, like she's kind of like a mother at this point. Yeah, she's a very young person. She's very used up and and she has no worth. Part of me died just by saying that, okay? I hate myself for even creating that sentence, because the boss is my favorite character, and I can't believe I said such a thing. I'm sorry. That was too far. I really hate myself now for that.
prominent positive representations of women with different body types in major contemporary games. In Life is Strange, there's the minor character Alyssa, a classmate of Max, the protagonist.
I didn't know you were a sci-fi
Whoa,
geek
whoa,
like that.
whoa. For once we're actually shitting on Life is Strange. That is, like... What have we come to? Because every SJW I have seen loves this game. They love Life is Strange. And now an SJW is having a quarrel, a little issue with Life is Strange. That is, like, blowing my mind right now.
What's your favorite?
In Assassin's Creed Syndicate, there's Agnes McBean, owner of the train which becomes the hero's base of operations.
Then may I present to you Agnes and Bertha, Lady and Locomotive.
And in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, Kreia is a great example of a capable, powerful, older female character.
I am Kreia, and
Oh, wait,
I am
or
your
is he saying that these
rescuer,
are
as
good
you are
things?
mine.
Let's go back to Overwatch for a moment.
Okay.
Since that initial reveal, a few female heroes have been added to
Oh,
the roster.
okay.
There's Mei and Zarya, both of whom have body types that are notably different from those of the originally announced female characters.
Anna, reporting for duty.
And more recently, Blizzard announced the game's next hero, Anna, who's both an older woman and a woman of color. These characters are welcome and encouraging additions, but really they're just a start. Game developers need to...
They're just a start, so she's saying that this is... She said that in the most... I don't know, I might be overthinking it, but like, it's like, yeah, of course it's just a start. That's how you get more variety. You need a start. You can't just expect suddenly 1,000 companies and 1,000 games to feature variety overnight. This isn't a thing that's gonna happen like that. It's not like a flip a switch and suddenly we have variety. No, we need a starting point. If you're gonna be ungrateful for a fucking starting point, then you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I mean, like, you can kind of criticize how long it took to get this. Sure, you can say that, you know, it's 2016 and we're just now starting to have this variety. I agree that it's kind of shitty to just now getting this variety. Sure, that's a fair point. But at least it's a start. But yeah, you know, if you're gonna criticize that it took him this long, that's fine. That's a fine argument to make, because yeah, that's a fair argument. But you know, you just be grateful you have something than nothing. Because what if these characters flopped? What if no one liked these characters, and you know, and then companies never like added variety? What about that? You know, that would be shit, right? So, you know, at least be happy that we're getting there. I mean, you might, yeah.
Continue actively working towards creating the same range and diversity of female body representations that we see among male characters. When female characters' bodies are liberated from the need to uphold narrow, limiting cultural beauty standards, the resulting range of representations can not only make games themselves more interesting, it can encourage us to see all women as the desirable, valuable.
There was I lost my thought. Let's just rewatch that. I'm sorry. Like I watched 6 minutes of this, so
Continue actively working towards creating the same range and diversity of female body representations that we see among male characters. When female characters' bodies are liberated from the need to uphold narrow, limiting cultural beauty standards, the resulting range of representations can not only make games themselves more interesting, it can
so how a woman looks in a game makes a game interesting. Not the game itself, not the story, not the nothing. Not the style, not the theme, not the genre, no, all that is fluff. But how a woman looks makes the game interesting. I mean, I would just say that having more variety of women makes the world more lively. I would say that because that makes more sense. Because it is hard to believe a world where there's only one body type. So, she should have just said that. Because I could tell you an interesting story and have one body type for a character, and it could still be an interesting story. But, yeah, it's more of like, yeah, you make the world more lively by having more variety. That is the argument that she should have been making, but she didn't. And the other issue I have with these videos is that she doesn't offer how she would do it. Like, it's funny. It's funny that these SJWs criticize game developers, storytellers, all this stuff for featuring one body type or whatever issue that they find, and they don't offer any suggestions or how they would remedy it. But instead, they just say, "You figure it out. Here's an issue. You figure it out." I don't want to figure it out. Like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm sorry you don't like the game that you're probably not gonna buy. And I heard this on a podcast somewhere, and I agreed with. It's so annoying to hear these SJWs bitch and moan about things in games that they're not even gonna fucking buy. Like Street Fighter V, you really think that the people who bitched and whined about Armika's butt slap went out to buy Street Fighter V? No, they didn't buy that fucking game. So you're telling me that these are the people that they should pander to? What about the original customers that bought the game, that don't give a fuck? And it's like that, and that's the issue with pandering to these people, to SJWs, is that these people are either, if it's people that are gonna buy their game, like if it's a Street Fighter fan that complained about Armika's butt slap, that's one thing. That's one argument, and that's not to say that that these SJWs, that none of them were Street Fighter fans. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as a Street Fighter fan that's an SJW, but it took them all the way to like Street Fighter V to bitch and moan about how a character slaps her butt. Where were they in Street Fighter 3? Where were they in Street Fighter 4? Where were these people then? It took them to Street Fighter 5 to complain about it? Oh, okay, sure, whatever. But, I don't like this. This video is just not that well made, and I feel that it highlights all these issues that I've had with this. Is that they just talk about what pisses them off, and they don't talk about how it can be changed or fixed. They don't explain how. They just explain the issue. It's like, oh yeah, here's my problem. See, this is the problem. See, more problems. They talk about games that are already released. Why not say like, well, they announced this game, like what's the next game that's coming out? Battlefield 1. Why not talk about Battlefield 1? Like, see, they could have a character that's like this, and that's what I would do to make the world more lively and more variety. Instead of saying, see, look at this game that's already out. See how it doesn't offer any variety? It's like, okay, what do you want them to do? Patch the game with variety? Like that no.
Encourage us to see all women as the desirable, valuable, autonomous, fully human individuals that we are.
But it's interesting, like, every time that I every time that I've seen a character, and they're, like, I like regular Kiryuin. I like Eliza from Skullgirls. I like Karen, Laura, Armika. There's another character. I think there's another character. Is there? I kind of like Ibuki, but I like those characters not because they're sexy characters. Laura's breasts. No, I like those characters because I like their personality. I like their playstyle. I like all this stuff. Their body types are the last thing that come into my mind. So yeah, I already value these women beyond their body types. I don't really care that about their breasts and their butts and all that kind of shit. But I understand wanting body diversity. I understand the want for that. So I can't say that it's a non-issue. It's not necessarily a non-issue, but it's just kind of like, why talk about games that are already released? It's fine to say, like, look at these games that don't have variety, and I think these games would benefit more if they had more variety in women because it would make their world more relatable and lively than just having the same kind of stuff. And that's a fine argument as well, but she doesn't further the conversation of it, and that's the biggest issue. So, there you go. That's it for my video. Hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed making it. So...